Welcome to Live from My Drum Room. This is a very special episode. Today we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Rolling Stones' masterpiece, It's Only Rock and Roll, released in October of 1974. This record has a lot of significance. Those Rolling Stones fans out there watching right now, I think, know immediately this was the last album that included the great Mick Taylor, that classic period from 1969 to 1974 that many, including myself and even Charlie, felt was the band's most prolific period. When you look at the output from that period from 1969 with Let It Bleed, the live album Get Your Yeah Yeahs out in 1970, recorded in 1969, released in 1970, Sticky Fingers 1971, Exile on Main Street, 72, Goat's Head Soup in 73, and then this record, It's Only Rock and Roll in 1974. Um, it's just an amazing period of time for the Rolling Stones. And I think a lot of that had to do with Mick Taylor. He really brought the rest of the band's playing up to another level because of the level that Mick Taylor was at that time. So let's talk about this record. I think it's interesting to note, um, although this record was released in 1974, like many Stones records of that period, it had been recorded almost a year earlier, or at least they started working on it almost a year earlier. They had had an amazing European tour in the fall of 1973. And I would say this was arguably the greatest period for the Stones. When you listen to the bootlegs from that time, specifically the Brussels bootleg from October of 1973. There's also great bootlegs from Rotterdam, from London, and then earlier in 73 in Perth, Australia. The band was just on fire. I mean, it was such a great time. They were just gelling and playing. Everybody was playing well individually, and then as a group, they sounded fabulous. So they went in the studio in November of 73, right after they finished their European tour, and all that energy and all those creative juices were still flowing. And they began working on this record, It's Only Rock and Roll. Um, and it proceeded throughout the year 1974. And I'm going to just start by playing the first song on the record. And I'll just kind of set this up by saying, from a personal standpoint, I'd been playing drums a couple of years at that point, a novice by any stretch. And the Stones were by far my favorite band at that time, and they still are today. But I was so influenced by Charlie and by the band at that point in 1974. Earlier that year in the spring, my sister, who's 5 years older than me, brought me and a couple of my friends to see Ladies and Gentlemen, the Rolling Stones, the incredible movie that they made. It was a motion picture released at major theaters and really like concert theaters. It was a 1972 tour that they recorded, and the sound was, they used quadraphonic sound, and they billed it as the next best thing to being at a Stones concert was this movie, Ladies and Gentlemen, the Rolling Stones. So I saw that, and I'd been playing drums at that point only about a year and a couple of months, and it just completely floored me. It was just, amazing. And then when the record came out later that year, I should say that summer, the single, It's Only Rock and Roll, But I Like It, was released in July, and I bought the 45. And then when the album came out in October, my sister bought me the album. So I want to thank her for that. I thank her all the time, but I know she's going to listen to this podcast. So Susan, I want to thank you again for everything. So we're going to talk about this now. And what was the great thing about buying records in those days, and I think those of you watching right now that are old enough to remember this, I had the 45, It's Only Rock and Roll, But I Like It. And I was listening to that. And the flip side was a song called Through the Lonely Nights, which they actually recorded from Goat's Head Soup. It didn't appear on any album. It wasn't on Goat's Head Soup. It was from those sessions. And then it never appeared on It's Only Rock and Roll. Anyway, I digress. What I'm getting at is that, the excitement of getting a new record after, listening to a 45, and the anticipation. And I remember playing It's Only Rock and Roll, the album, for the first time. And the first song on the record, If You Can't Rock Me, is just such an incredible song. And I'm gonna just kick it off with that right now. Just I'll set it up for a second and say, if you don't know this song, you're in for a treat. I have to think if you're watching this, you're probably familiar with this record and you know this song. But I'd never heard Charlie play stuff like this before, playing 16th notes on the hi-hat. It's just a cool beat. It was a, kind of a departure, I guess you could say, for the kind of drumming that Charlie had been doing up till that time. And I thought the rest of the band also sort of, took a lot of chances, you could say, on this record. So anyway, here comes If You Can't Rock Me. It's the first song, side one of It's Only Rock and Roll.
hit of my heart. Every day it grows more and more. I'm not ashamed. Come and bleed with you, baby. Bleed to keep you from that door. Ain't you better days, darling? Please don't leave me. Don't you go. Ain't you better please, baby, baby. Please don't leave me. Don't you go. Ain't you better please, sweet darling. Please don't leave me. Don't you go. Ain't you better please, baby, baby. Please don't leave me. Don't you go. Sweet darling, don't you go.
Oh man, that's a rockin' tune. Obviously, a cover of the Temptations' "Ain't Too Proud to Beg." Um, Something I learned somewhat recently is I guess the original concept for this album was going to be a number of like classic covers like that, and that's the only one that ended up being a cover song in the end. They ended up having a bunch of new material, and they just went in the studio and recorded it. But what I love about that song is it's Keith is playing. I think Keith is playing all the guitars on that song. He's certainly playing the solo. It's got that classic Chuck Berry, Keith riff solo in the middle there, and there's just so much energy. And as usual, the Stones put their own spin on a classic cover like that, which is pretty risky. But when you cover a Temptations song, you better be able to kind of bring something cool to it, or you're going to sound foolish. And I think the Stones did a great job on this song, again, with a classic Temptations cover. What else can I tell you about that song? Keith playing, I think he's playing all the electric guitars. So Keith can certainly hold his own. And it's always kind of fun. I think from this period, hearing Keith play a guitar solo is pretty unique and always fun to hear. I think from the time Mick Taylor got in the band, things really shifted and he became really the de facto lead guitar player in the band. Rightfully so, because he is such an incredible player and those fluid solos that he played. And Keith played incredible rhythm guitar to that. So they were a great team that way. So in these situations where you hear a studio recording and it's Keith taking the solo, it's fun. It's different. Certainly sounds different. This next song, the title track from the record, "It's Only Rock and Roll, But I Like It." Again, I think I'm not telling people anything they don't already know, but if you don't already know this, this song was recorded at Ronnie Wood's studio before he was a Rolling Stone, when he was just a friend of the band. He was still on the Faces at the time in 1974. And the drummer on this track is not Charlie Watts, but it's Kenny Jones, who was in fact the drummer of the Faces at the time. Later, of course, became the drummer for The Who after Keith Moon passed away. And on bass is the great Willie Weeks. And Willie had worked on Ronnie's solo record, as did my pal Andy Newmark. And I think this was just sort of a continuation not of that record, but Ronnie had a studio and he was always inviting friends over to play and jam and come up with ideas. So this song, "It's Only Rock and Roll, But I Like It," was part of that little germ of an idea of a, spontaneous jam session with Mick Jagger. And I'm going to play something that's you might have seen this. This was from my Live from My Drum Room episode that I did with Kenny Jones a couple of years ago. And this is Kenny talking about playing that track, "It's Only Rock and Roll." So check this out. Here's Kenny Jones. I've always been fascinated with what little I know about you playing on "It's Only Rock and Roll, But I Like It." which I
Oh yeah,
remember I'd learned that um, sometime in the early 80s. Then I bought Max Weinberg's book, The Big Beat, where he interviewed you, and you talked a little bit about that.
yeah.
And and I know that it was a song that Mick Jagger and Ronnie Wood were sort of jamming on, and they rang you up to come and play, right? Basically to put a reference track, like a
Well, it was a song I hadn't even started really. So when I get there, I mean, when I get this call from Ronnie saying, Kenny, we haven't got a drum out, and oh blimey, and it's always cool when I've got one leg into bed. And I lived on Richmond Park. We both lived around Richmond Park, and at night they closed the gate to Richmond Park. So for me to get to Woodies, going across the park would take me 2 minutes. Go all the way around is it more like 15 minutes or well, a bit longer, 20 minutes. But also I'd had a drink, so I didn't want to get caught for drink driving. So it was a tense moment getting there. I get there. One night it would be Bob Dylan there, another night it'd be Eric Clapton, whatever. This particular night was it was just Mick Jagger. So hello Kenny, how are you doing? Yeah, great. So I started playing, and it's just playing away. And Ronnie was in the control room working at doing the engineer bit, because he just got a load of outboard equipment, new stuff. So he's playing around with that. He said, keep playing. So just me and Mick together. And suddenly we hit this groove. And Mick said, he said, oh, play it like that. And I went, okay. So I said, it's too late. I'm going to play it like this. I said, anyway, it's only rock and roll. So we was buzzing around. That's how it happened. And we ended up sort of playing it. I just thought nothing more of it. Went home the next day, forgot all about it.
wow.
Then I got a call saying, oh, you're on the Stones album. I said, what? And they said, well, it's only rock and roll, but I like it. And it says they're single. I went, oh, what? So I called up Charlie straight away. I said, Charlie, I'm really sorry. I never meant this to happen. I would never be, stealing anyone's thunder like that. And he said, all right, it's all right, Kenny, don't worry, because this is the special thing about Charlie. He was such a lovely gentleman. I said, Kenny, it's okay. Sounds like me anyway. So
Yeah.
it's just good old Charlie.
Oh, I know. Bless him. I know. Yeah. No, I'd heard that story. Yeah. And it does sound like him. But
Well,
it's,
funny enough, I was thinking about Charlie when I was playing it. So when you think about that, you kind of I'm sure Charlie, I played Charlie.
well, it's an amazing track, Kenny. I think, if you had only recorded that one song, I think it puts you at the top of the mountain. I think, because it's such, the feel is so impossible to really.
It's a great feel. I like the feel.
Oh.
I'll tell you why. It was about 3:00 in the morning, and I was bloody tired.
That's the key.
Yeah, no, let's just keep everyone up late. Really sort of keep the drummer up late, because when you get really tired, you're kind of so far behind the beat.
Do you recall? I mean, do you know if the version that we hear on the song is that, like, did you do a bunch of takes, or were there just a couple of takes, or did it just?
Don't forget, it was a bit more. It was late, and it was just a quick sort of rough demo type song.
Yeah.
I didn't even think they were gonna keep it. So
Yeah.
I think we just probably ran through it a couple of times. That's it.
What a great story. There it is. I mean, it's just so simple. When Kenny tells that story, that he went in the middle of the night. They needed a drummer to do like a demo track, basically, which is what Kenny thought it was going to be, just a demo, just something to lay down a groove, give them a reference to where the verses and the choruses were and the instrumental section. And then, it turns out to be the track. And my understanding is they did record it. I think they did actually record it with Charlie. And in the end, even Charlie agreed that it sounded better, kind of just had the vibe with Kenny's version. So they kept it. Great story. And Charlie being the great guy that he was, the sweetheart that he was, had no issue with it. So I'm going to play that song for you right now. And so with that in mind, again, I know probably many of you folks already knew this, but if you didn't know that, so really give it a critical listen. I remember hearing this when I listened to this 45, the single in the summer of 1974. I remember the first thing that stuck out was how different the drums sounded from past Stones records, and the drumming seemed a little different, but not that much different. But it sounded different. The snare drum sounds very open and definitely more of a honk to it. And of course, that can be in the production. That could be just in the way the engineer got, I guess who would be Ron Wood in this case, got the drums to sound. And it did strike me as being a departure, a different kind of feel than what I thought of Charlie playing at the time. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Give it a listen. This is, of course, the classic song. It's only rock and roll, but I like it. I should have pointed out too. One of the things I remember at the time, really listening to this song, a lot when I had the record, uh, was how much harder it sounded like. I thought it was Charlie at the time. Charlie was hitting the drums, and again, it makes sense because Kenny's definitely hits harder than Charlie. You can hear that. You can, if you really listen to that track, certainly at the end when they're sort of all going for it, um, you can tell that the velocity of which Kenny is hitting the drums is definitely more so than what you'd normally hear Charlie play at the velocity he'd play. So that was another difference. It's just the feel was obviously different. It gives it all that energy. And someone had asked, Bob C had asked about David Bowie singing backup, and yes, I believe he's on there. David Bowie's on that song. And again, this was a separate recording from the rest of the record. So this was done at Ronnie Wood's home studio. And then they took the basic tracks and then added Keith's guitar. Keith was not there at the time. Ronnie Wood, I think, had an electric guitar that they took off the track, but his acoustic guitar is still there. And then you hear Keith is layered in at least 2 or 3 electric guitars. That's Keith playing the solo. No Mick Taylor on this song. No Bill Wyman. It's Willie Weeks on bass. Excuse me, Kenny on drums, Kenny Jones. And I think Mick is doing all the harmonies as well. So Mick is singing the melody and then he's harmonizing overdubbed to harmony in his own voice. Although, at first listen, it might sound like it's Keith, but it's Mick singing the high part. They'd started doing that a lot. Mick had started doing that around that time where he would do a high harmony, sometimes with Keith, sometimes on his own. And you'd almost think it was Keith, and then you'd realize, oh, that's Mick singing that high part. So anyway, so that's It's Only Rock and Roll, but I like it. And that song is 50 years later. I think this whole record, but that song certainly, you hear it on the radio all the time. Man, it holds up. It's such a classic track. What a great drum sound. And by the way, that excerpt that I played of Kenny talking about it, you can watch that. I'll put the link in the episode that came from. And there's a full episode with Kenny where he talks about that, and he goes into a little bit more detail, talks about his old Ludwig kit that he gave Ronnie that was at the studio. He believed it was his blonde Ludwig kit that used to record that song. And he recalled some Peisty Sound Edge hi-hats. Wasn't sure what the crashes were. I wondered if they were Giant Beats or 2002s. He wasn't 100% sure, but they sound like 2002s to me. Maybe even 602s. I don't know. But he was playing Peisty cymbals at that time. So 1974. All right. We're going to move on to the next song on this record. My personal favorite, I have a lot of my favorites change often on certain records, but this one's probably been my favorite the longest. It's the next song in sequence. It's Till the Next Goodbye. It's a beautiful ballad. I'm a sucker for these beautiful ballads, and Keith is playing the electric slide, which again is very unique. You don't hear Keith playing slide really ever. In the old days when Brian Jones was in the band, he was the guy playing slide, and then of course, Mick Taylor joined the band in '69, and he's an unbelievable slide player. So it's kind of a unique thing for Keith to be playing slide guitar, but he does. But I know Mick Taylor is on this playing acoustic, as is Keith, and I think Mick Jagger. I made some notes. Let me just double check this. Don't want to say anything incorrect. I think Mick is playing acoustic guitar on this too. I didn't note it, but I'm going to say that he's on this as well. What else can I tell you? Another thing, just, all you drummers, to me, this is just demonstrates just how great a drummer Charlie was. You're not going to hear anything fancy or technical on this song, obviously, but just listen to how he builds his part for this song, how he plays for the song. You're going to hear, especially toward the end, where he just drops out several times. He plays, and then he sort of sets up the part where Mick sings the chorus, Till the Next Time We Say Goodbye. Charlie stops, he plays, he stops, he plays. It's beautiful. The effect is beautiful. If he had kept playing, it almost would have I think Mick's vocal would have not had the effect that it has with the drums not behind it and then coming back. it really gives more emphasis and more weight to what Mick is singing. It's genius. And Mick Taylor's playing on this song. Let's just talk about that for a minute too. He's playing, I mentioned Keith playing the electric slide. Mick Taylor is playing the answering acoustic guitar that answers what Mick is singing. And you'll hear what I mean in a second. But this is Till the Next Goodbye. It's a absolutely beautiful song.
Honey, is there any place that you would like to eat? I know a coffee shop down on 52nd Street. And I don't need no fancy food, and I don't need no fancy wine. And the show don't need the tears you cry. Till the next time we say goodbye.
That's Mick Taylor.
Till the next time we say goodbye. Till the next time we say goodbye. I've been thinking of you. I've been thinking of you. Yeah, a movie house on 42nd Street ain't a very likely place for you and I to meet. Watching the snow swirl around your hair, around your feet. And I'm thinking to myself, it surely looks a treat. Till the next time we say goodbye. Till the next time we say goodbye. Till the next time that we kiss goodnight. I've been thinking of you. I've been thinking of you. I can't go on like this, can ya? Can ya? I can't go on like this, can ya? You give me a cure-all from New Orleans. Now that's a recipe I sure do need. Some cider vinegar, some elderberry wine. To cure all your ills, they can't cure mine. The Louisiana recipes have let me down. Your Louisiana recipes surely let me down. Till the next time we say goodbye. Drink deep. Till the next time we say goodbye. Till the next time we kiss goodnight. Till the next time we say goodbye. Till the next time we say
What a great song. What a great song. And yeah, someone had asked if that was Nicky Hopkins on that song. It was Nicky Hopkins. Billy Preston is also on this record on a couple of tracks, but that is without a doubt the great Nicky Hopkins. Um, I did mention this at the beginning, but I'll mention it now that this, another significant thing about this particular record, besides it being the last record Mick Taylor did, it was the first record that was produced by the Glimmer Twins, aka Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. They had parted ways with Jimmy Miller, who had produced the previous five records, going back or more, going back to Beggar's Banquet in 1968, Let It Bleed, uh, studio records, of course, Sticky Fingers, Exile on Main Street, Goat's Head Soup. So he had produced all those records, and this was the beginning of the Glimmer Twins being the production team. And I think they did a fine job. I believe it was Andy Johns that engineered this record. I could look that up. I should know that. And I think they got a great sound. And I think Mick and Keith did a fabulous job producing this record. And I believe this next song, this song is widely recognized and acknowledged as Mick Taylor's kind of swan song. Time Waits for No One, of course, ironically, is the name of it. And he plays this incredible, beautiful, fluid, melodic solo. In the song, it's a very long, extended solo. And I believe I read somewhere along the way that there was a dispute between Mick and Keith on how much of that solo, how much of that they should keep in the song. I think, and I all you Stones experts, if I've got this wrong, definitely call me out on it, correct me. But I think Keith wanted it to be a more condensed version. Didn't want the full solo in there, and I think Mick really wanted it in there. And of course, this was before they knew Mick Taylor was going to quit the band. He quit the band 2 months after this record came out in December of 1974. Is when he left the band. So Mick Jagger, I believe, had the foresight to say, no, we got to, it's a beautiful solo. We've got to keep this piece of music intact, because it all fits together. And when you listen to this, it's such an amazing composition. It's hard to not just be swept away by what Mick Taylor plays because it's just so incredible. But Mick Jagger's vocal, of course, is spectacular. The entire band. And again, I'll single out Charlie, who switches back between, you'll hear him start the song with a cross stick. He sort of intros it with a little fade in, playing the cross stick, and then everybody comes in, he's playing snare. He switches from ride to hi-hat, as he did in those days a lot. He would play the verse and the hi-hat chorus on the ride cymbal. And you hear him doing that back and forth in different places. It really colors all those sections of the song so beautifully, as does in certain places where he switches back to a cross stick, playing the ride and the cross stick and the hi-hat, back to the snare and the ride. It's just great. I'm sure that Mick Taylor's guitar solo was overdubbed, but when you listen to this, it really sounds like he's playing with Charlie, that they're playing off of each other. And that may well be the case. I'm just assuming, I think in those days they used to overdub the solos, and really get the perfect take. So I'm guessing that is indeed what they did, but when you listen to it, it sounds very cohesive, like they were just working off each other. And maybe they'd done enough demos and enough versions of this song where, Charlie could sort of base what he was playing on what he had an idea of what Mick might be playing. I don't know, but I know I'm getting into the weeds, but this is the beautiful Time Waits for No One, and it won't wait for me.
or destroy a woman's face. Hours are like diamonds, don't let them waste. Time waits by no one, no favors has he. Time waits by no one, and he won't wait for me. To their passing years, till their fame everlasting. Here it comes chopping and reaping. Hear him laugh if they're cheating. Time waits for no man, and he won't wait for me. Yes, time waits for no one, and he won't wait for thee.
How cool, huh? It ends the way it starts with Charlie and the cross stick. Such a great song, man. It's hard to abbreviate it. I had considered, trying to fade it at some point, but I just couldn't bring myself to it. So thanks for hanging there with me. I didn't think you guys would mind me playing the whole song. This next song, moving right along, is was another surprise to me when I learned this sort of background to it. A favorite of mine. I saw the Stones for the first time in 1975. Um, at the old Boston Garden, June 1975. I was 14 years old, 14 and a half. I would have turned 15 end of that year, 1975. And it was just such an incredible thing. It was life-changing and all that. And they played this next song because this album had come out in the fall of 74. This was their, newest release, so to speak, even though it was, 8 months old or 10 months old at that point. But they played many songs from It's Only Rock and Roll during that 1975 US tour. If you saw that, you know what I'm talking about. And they played this next song, and it turns out they didn't play it all the time. And I'm glad I got to hear it at the Boston Garden that night. And all the bootlegs that I found from 75, I've yet to find it on any of the bootlegs. There's a great live bootleg. I'm sure you all know the Stones ended up live in LA. The Stones ended up releasing it as one of their records. It was recorded in July of 1975 at the Los Angeles Forum, and it's an entire show, but this song is not on it. And anyway, what I'm getting at, what's the surprise for me was on this song is it's Keith playing all the guitars. His rhythm playing is unbelievable on this song. It's just, and I remember it literally filling the entire Boston Garden when I heard this song. I remember the sound of it just completely filling the room. And Ronnie would have played the solo on this, but it's Keith on the studio version playing the guitar solo. Now, I've verified this because for years I assumed it was Mick Taylor. It sounds like Mick Taylor. It has that fluid playing to it that you don't associate with Keith. At least I think it sounds fluid. I'm not a guitar player. You guitar players can correct me, but as a drummer, it really sounds more fluid than what I'm used to hearing Keith play. It's a beautiful solo. The song, of course, is Luxury. Besides the cool, what at the time for me, very innovative beat that Charlie played, I could not for the life of me in 1974, when this song came out, when I first heard this record, could not figure out what the hell he was playing. I mean, it sounded like he was playing a cross stick, but the way he was playing it, where he was putting the beat, which of course is the classic sort of reggae feel, was beyond my 13 or 14-year-old comprehension at the time. And if I tried to play it today, I'd still mess it up, sounding like, a white guy from the suburbs. But Charlie nails this song, man. It's so great. He plays it with so much authenticity. And again, just keep in mind, it's Keith playing the guitar solo, and I believe he's playing all the guitars. And there's at least 2 or 3 rhythm guitars in there, beautifully mixed and layered, as Keith would do. And great vocal by Mick, of course. And so dig this. You're a Boston guy. I'm not hearing the accent. No, whatever accent I had, I lost a long time ago, thankfully. Yeah, there's enough people with a Boston accent. All right, let me just take a look at my notes here and make sure I'm not forgetting anything else worthwhile. We talked about Keith's solos, and again, Charlie's beat, you'll hear, I think the only fill that he plays is when he comes in at the beginning. Just that, Keith plays the intro part, the chord, the little melody. Charlie comes in with a little fill, and that's it. That's all you hear. That's in the way of fills. That's all you hear through the rest of the song. A couple of cymbal crashes. He drops some bombs in certain places, accents, of course, and the sparseness is what makes this such a great song. So here comes Luxury.
Wanna be Party rum, I want to drink it. All the whiskey too. My woman need a new dress. My daughter got to go to school. I'm working so hard. I'm working for the company. I'm working so hard to keep you in the luxury. You can call me lazy. I'm a 7-day a week.
Right. Fade that one out. Yeah, I wanted to just take a minute and talk about that song. Let it play right into it. But again, Mick Taylor just ripping it up. That's him, of course, playing that incredible solo in the middle there, and then just, riffing at the end of it. Charlie really energetic in that song, really gets to play, gets to stretch. I've seen them do this song live a number of times in recent years. And it's kind of it's fun to see them pull, an old song like that out of the closet, dust off an old chestnut and hear Charlie play those fills. It's really cool. But I remember sitting and playing along to that record. That particular song was always fun because, Charlie's kicking it. He's playing all those singles on the snare drum and great fills. So great song. This next song in sequence, another beautiful ballad off this record. And If You Really Want to Be My Friend. And again, it features a beautiful guitar solo, of course, by Mick Taylor, but it's a beautiful vocal by Mick. Also, I want to just jump back 1 second. I should have pointed this out. During Luxury, at the end of it, you hear the great Ray Cooper is playing Kungas on that song. And, legendary Ray Cooper, you've seen him with Elton John for years, but he's played with everybody. And that's him playing the Kungas, and it's really great. But the backup vocals on this particular song, Blue Magic, R&B vocal band, so Philly band rather. So yeah, so check this out. This is If You Really Want to Be My Friend, and we're getting close to the end here, and it's only rock and roll. I hope you're enjoying this so far. What else can I tell you about this before I let it go? All right, again, check out Charlie. He's playing for the song, and just really just kind of fits all these little things into the song, I think, beautifully. Just weaves in and out of the vocal, never gets in the way. Check it out.
If you really want to be my friend, let me live it up like I used to do. If you really want to understand me, there's some giving up we got to do. I know everybody wants to be your man. I don't want to try you, go ahead, you're free. And I never want to score you with my brain. We could live it up, just you and me. If you really want
play a little bit of this next one. Great slide by Mick Taylor. Some great slide work.
Too bad she's got you by the balls. You can't get free at all. She's got your name, she's got your number. It's screaming like thunder, and you can't get away right out. It's too bad she's got you by the balls. You can't break loose at all. She's got your name, she's got your number. You're screaming like thunder, and you're trying like a rat in a hole. It's too bad she's got you by the balls. She's nailed you to the wall. Well, it's a shame, but it's funny. She breaks your car, she spends your money, and you can't get away from it all. It's too bad she grab a handful, and you can't get away from it all. It's too bad, ooh, it looks painful, and you can't break away from the stall, and you can't get away from it all. It's too bad. She's got you by the balls. She's got your name, she's got your number. You're screaming blue murder, and you can't get away from it all.
They've always been one of the greatest blues bands ever, and there you have it right there. Short and Curlies. No doubt what that song is about. And I do like that song. I always wondered if it was maybe, just sort of thrown on there at the last minute. I don't mean to assume or insult my friends in the Rolling Stones, but it's just kind of a funny, 2-minute 44-second song that just repeats over and over. But there's some great music being played there. Obviously, Charlie's playing a great little blues shuffle beat there. Mick Taylor's playing some great slide work. It's a great song, Anyway, we're getting down to the end here. This is the last song on the record, Fingerprint File, and really, really cool song. Listen to the lyrics. If you don't know this song, listen closely and really listen, critically with some headphones. Anyway, some great lyrics in there that 50 years later are very apropos to, who's listening and, being eavesdropped on and being spied on. And it's pretty cool. Yeah. So anyway, Mick had a little glimpse into the future, I guess. And but stick around after this. I got a couple of quick surprises I'm gonna lay on you before I let you all go. And I do want to thank you guys for tuning in today, the day before Thanksgiving here in the US. Hopefully you have a long weekend coming up, and you'll get a little time off, and you'll be able to watch this again on YouTube or download the podcast. But here comes the last song from It's Only Rock and Roll, and this is, of course, Fingerprint File. And I'll just give you a quick rundown on the personnel, because it's a little unique on this one. It's Mick Taylor playing bass. It's Bill Wyman playing synthesizer. It's Mick Jagger playing electric guitar, Keith playing electric guitar, playing the wah-wah guitar part that you hear in this. And yeah, let's see what else. Charlie, of course, Charlie Watts on drums. Oh, Billy Preston is playing the clavinet on this song. Clavinet. And Nicky Hopkins on piano. Okay. So it's a cool little lineup of personnel on this particular song. And Charlie plays some really cool stuff at the end. He really starts to, play some really cool, tasty things there. Check it out. And I do want to comment quickly, and I'm going to talk about his drums when we finish this, but just really dig the sound of his drums. He had such a great drum sound on this particular record. during that period. But I think the drum sound that he had on the record before this, Goat's Head Soup, has never been one of my favorite sounding records. They cleaned it up a little bit when they remastered it a few years ago, but the original pressing, when it came out in 1973, it sounded muddy to me compared to Exile on Main Street, which was just before it. So when this record came out a year later, 1974, it was nice to hear that big drum sound return. You know, you can hear that his tom-toms are really in the mix, and snare drums got, you know, a lot of sort of, it's fat sounding, but it also has a nice crack to it as well. But tom-toms especially are really prevalent on this record. So check it out, Fingerprint File.
Who's the man on the corner? That corner over there. I don't know. Well, you better lay low.
Yeah, you know, we ain't talking alone. Who's listening? But I don't really know.
But you better tell the SIS to keep out of sight, 'cause I know they're taking pictures on the ultraviolet light.
Yes. Yeah, but these days, it's all secrecy, no privacy.
Shoot first.
That's right. Lay low. Lay low. Bye-bye.
What a prize. What a prize to pay. Good night. Sleep tight.
Sorry about that. I got a little trigger happy with stopping it. All right, that's Fingerprint file. And I meant to point this out, but you can listen back to it. There's a point where they do a little breakdown, and you can hear. And I only recently, in the last few years, probably really listening to this thing, maybe because it was a remastered version of this album, but you can hear that Charlie apparently overdubbed the hi-hat part. He's playing 16th notes again, like he does in If You Can't Rock Me, but except you can hear the basic track. He's playing eighth notes on the hi-hat. He's playing just, a regular groove, and he's opening and closing the hi-hat in different places. And then on top of that, you can hear him lightly playing 16th notes on top. And I wish I had thought to ask him about that. And no doubt he would have said to me that he didn't remember, but it would have been worth asking him anyway. Whenever I'd ask him those kinds of questions, I think half of it was him just wanting to wind me up and knowing that he was winding me up by saying he didn't remember. But most often he would say to me, "Oh God, John, I don't remember. I don't remember what I was playing there." But I want to just take a moment. I just thought it would be interesting to show you. Now, I mentioned my Gretsch drums here behind me. Charlie got this black Gretsch drum set in 1972 and used it on everything up until, and I believe including, Some Girls in 1978. Most people think of Charlie, they think of his maple kit. And, I've heard people say he had that maple kit since the 60s. No, he got that kit in 1978. And he didn't start using the China until the Some Girls record, which was 77, 78. So everything he played at that time was on his four-piece Gretsch kit. At that time, from 1972 on, it was the Black Nitron kit. He had other kits before that, but the Black Nitron kit, and you can see he had no cymbal over the 13-inch mounted tom. Again, I know that's for all you Charlie Watts fans out there, you already know this, but it never ceases to amaze me how many people are surprised by that, that don't realize that was the setup that he played for a long time. Was this, the ride to his right, and then the crash just to that, nothing over the rack tom. There's a little better angle from behind. And I think I have one more shot here. Yeah, so you can see, ride, crash, nothing over the rack tom, hi-hat. Gretsch, chrome over brass snare drum, really like a standard Gretsch kit. In fact, in 72, he was playing, the bass drum had the stock metal hoops from that period. You can sort of see it in this picture, the metal stock hoop. And then in 75, he used a completely different black bass drum, but that's another story. But what I'm going to share with you right now, because you've all been so patient with me, is that's my little tribute to Charlie right there. That's my 1972 Gretsch Black Nitron, same sizes, 9x13 tom, mounted tom, 16x16 floor tom, 14x22-inch bass drum, 5x14 chrome over brass snare. I've got a 20-inch ride, a Peisty giant beat there, and a 16A thin crash, which replicates what Charlie was using back then, which was the Peisty 602 16-inch thin crash. These hi-hats, I think what I'm using here are 602s, but Charlie, he used old new beats, and he did also use, I believe at a point, probably at this time, was using 602 14-inch hi-hats. But that's my little tribute to Charlie. I used this kit just this past weekend, not quite in that configuration. I play it with more cymbals, and I used my Craviato snare, but it was a lot of fun to play this kit. It always is. They're beautiful sounding drums. Again, this is my tribute to Charlie, my black Nitron Gretsch kit. All right, I'm back. And that's assuming you guys are still here with me. All right, good. I'm going to play something that I've never played for anybody before. Don't worry, it's not a recording of my band. You're safe. You're all in the clear. And I have reservations about this, but I'm going to play it because you've all been so good about staying here with me today. I'm going to play you a voicemail that Charlie left for me the very first time he ever called me. This was back in April of 1997. And this began my very long 25-year friendship with Charlie. Not surprisingly, I saved this voicemail. So I'm going to play this for you. I don't know that I'm going to keep it in here when I put this up on YouTube and turn it into a podcast, but I'm going to play it for you guys live right now, and we'll see how I feel after I play this. And I want to thank you guys for hanging with me today. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I apologize that you're missing all the cool visuals. You'll just have to go over to YouTube and watch it. But I hope you've enjoyed the audio portion of this as well. And keep your fingers crossed, everybody. All the songs that I played are going to make it past the YouTube copyright police. I feel pretty good about that. So hopefully we'll get to listen to all these songs when I put this up on YouTube and upload it as a podcast. So this voicemail came in from Charlie. I'd written a letter to him and sent it to his tech at the time, the late, great Chooch McGee. And it was to introduce myself to him. And I then went out on a business trip for about 2.5 weeks. And during that time, this message came in. And here it goes.
Hello, John de Christopher. My name's Charlie Watts. I got a letter from you via Chooch McGee. Thank you very much. I'll try and ring you back sometime. I would love to look at some of the old cymbals. The one I really like is one I've got, but it's got broken, which is an Avida Zildjian Swish, 20 inches with all rivets around it. Really thin one, but I'll talk to you later. Thank you very much for your letter. Bye-bye.
Wow, I still get the chills when I listen to that, And as I said, that began a friendship with Charlie, a real friendship. I mean, I met him in person maybe about 3 or 4 or 5 months later. That was, as I said, in April of 1997. And then from that moment forward, we were friends. He gave me his home phone number. He said, when you come to London, call me. Stay in touch. We stayed in touch after I left Zildjian. All those, those 8 years after I left, that Charlie was still with us. I'd see them every time they came through Boston, and even in Los Angeles and in other places. So, all right, well, that's my show. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And remember, all podcasts are available on all the podcast platforms. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and a reminder that Live from My Drum Room t-shirts are available for $25 in the contiguous U.S., and I'm going to give you the Venmo information so that you can purchase one. And I want to take a moment and thank everyone who's bought one already. A reminder that 100% of the proceeds go toward a scholarship at the Percussive Arts Society, PAS, and you're supporting a great cause when you buy one of these shirts. So the Venmo information, if you're listening and not watching this on YouTube, it's at John-DChristopher-2. You can also email me at livefrommydrumroom@gmail.com with any questions. All right, so thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. Remember, no drummers are harmed on any show. And drummers, when in doubt, leave it out. I'll see you again real soon.